I never thought my heart could pound so hard just by seeing a single text on my phone. But there I was, smiling ear to ear whenever I heard that familiar ping. His name was Adrian, and I met him in an online writing forum. At first, he was just another username that commented on my short stories. Soon, we began chatting privately. Our conversations grew longer, more personal. I felt like fate had brought us together in that digital space. He told me he was 27 years old and lived 2 states away. He said he worked in graphic design. He had a big, loving family. We talked every day, sharing favorite books, silly jokes, and even childhood memories. Once, he sent me a picture of his sketchbook, where he drew a portrait of me based on a selfie I had shared. It was so beautiful that I felt tears forming in my eyes. Then one morning, Adrian disappeared. His last message was a simple good night. After that, there was nothing. I waited for hours, days, and then weeks. My heart felt hollow. Had I done something wrong? Why would he just ghost me like that? I spent endless nights rereading our old chats, searching for clues. The emptiness swallowed me. It was as if a part of my world had vanished without a trace. Still, I couldn't bring myself to forget him. I wanted answers, and I was determined to find them. 1 month passed. 30 days felt like 30 years. My friends saw how miserable I looked. My roommate, Lucy, kept telling me to move on, to focus on real life. It's just some online guy, she would say, trying to be kind. But for me, Adrian was more than a random internet stranger. He was someone who made my days brighter. I tried texting him again, but my messages remained unread. I checked his social media accounts, but there were no updates. I even went back to the forum where we first met. No sign of him either. I wondered if he had decided to leave the online world entirely. Maybe he found someone else. Perhaps he was simply bored of me. Despite my confusion, a spark of hope kept me searching. One night, as I scrolled through the forum archives, I discovered something strange. There was a post in an older thread written under a new username, but with the exact same language style as Adrian. The same phrases, the same sense of humor. My heart almost jumped out of my chest. Could this be him? I decided to send a message to that new username. I didn't say who I was. I just said I liked his post and wanted to chat. It felt sneaky, but I had to know if it was really Adrian. My mind raced with a dozen scenarios. Maybe he was hiding from me. Maybe he had a secret identity. I hoped I wasn't crossing a line. I just wanted closure. 3 days later, I got a reply from the new username. The message said, "Nice to meet you. I'm sorry if I'm slow to respond." That made my heart beat faster. Adrian used to say something similar when he was busy. I decided to keep the conversation going without revealing who I was. Our chats were polite and cautious at first. Then, one evening, he asked me about my favorite movie, just like Adrian once did. I felt both excitement and fear. Could I be chatting with Adrian again, only he had no idea it was me? Or was it just someone with a similar style of writing? There was no answer for 2 whole days. I thought I had scared him away again. Then, on the 3rd day, a reply appeared. "I'm sorry I hurt you. It's me." Reading those 4 words gave me a rush of relief and heartbreak. I wanted to scream at him for leaving. I wanted to cry because I had missed him so much. But I also wanted to know why. He sent a long message explaining everything. He said his name wasn't Adrian, and he didn't work in graphic design. He confessed he was hiding something bigger. His real name was Adam, and he had been dealing with a huge family crisis. His younger sister had become severely ill, and he had to quit his job to take care of her. The stress and sadness made him push everyone away, including me. He said he felt guilty for lying about his identity. I felt my eyes well up with tears. Was I supposed to feel angry, betrayed, sympathetic? My heart ached at the thought of him struggling alone. A part of me melted because he cared so deeply for his sister. Still, I needed time to process everything. Love can be complicated, especially when trust is broken. After reading his confession, I spent the next few days thinking about what to do. The rational part of my mind said, "He lied to you. You should forget him." but my heart wouldn't let me. I remembered all the genuine moments we shared, the way he listened to my problems, and how he made me feel understood. The messages continued, and we had long discussions about his sister's condition. He apologized again and again for vanishing without a word, explained that he created a new account on the forum because he felt guilty and didn't think he deserved my friendship. He never thought I would find him again. In one of his messages, he mentioned that his sister was finally stable, though still weak. She was admitted to a hospital in my city, an unexpected coincidence. He had traveled to be near her while she received specialized treatment. Suddenly, it all made sense. That was why he ghosted me. He had to focus on saving his sister's life. He told me he wished he could see me in person, but he was afraid I would reject him. My heart softened, and I typed back, "I want to see you. I want to help." There was a pause before he replied, "Are you sure?" I wrote yes. My emotions were swirling, but my decision was clear. This was someone I cared about, and I wanted to be there for him. Today, I met Adam in the hospital lobby. My stomach was full of butterflies. He stood up as soon as he saw me. He was taller than I had imagined, with gentle eyes that seemed a little sad and a little hopeful. The moment our gazes locked, all the online confusion melted away. He opened his arms, unsure if I would accept the hug, but I rushed forward and wrapped my arms around him. It felt so real, and tears of relief slid down my cheeks. He introduced me to his sister, Mia, who lay in a hospital bed surrounded by flowers and cards. She had the same gentle eyes as her brother, and she smiled weakly when he told her who I was. Mia thanked me for supporting Adam. She said he would talk about me when they were alone, calling me his lucky star. My heart melted on the spot, and my eyes misted with tears again. Adam and I walked around the hospital garden, talking about everything: his family, my feelings, our future. He apologized for lying about his name and occupation. He said he never wanted to hurt me, but he felt like he had nothing to offer once his life turned upside down. I forgave him because I saw how genuine he was, how much he cared for his sister, and how sorry he felt about everything. With a gentle smile, he confessed, "I don't want to be just an online boyfriend. I want to be by your side for real." My cheeks warmed, and I squeezed his hands. I wanted that all along. A week later, Mia's health improved enough for her to leave the hospital. Adam surprised me by taking me to a small art gallery nearby. We held hands as we walked through the exhibits, talking about colors, shapes, and the joy of creation. Then, in front of a painting of two people holding hands under a bright sun, Adam turned to me. In that quiet moment, he said, "I was lost in the darkness, but you brought me light." His voice shook slightly, and I felt a tear roll down my cheek. "Will you stay with me, even when things get hard?" My heart fluttered. I squeezed his hands tighter and whispered, "Yes." And just like that, the shadows that had haunted both our lives were replaced by something bright and hopeful. His real identity was no longer a secret, and his reasons for disappearing no longer stood between us. We were finally free to create new memories together.